So, since you've already been in this world of for-profit and non-profit, Shannon, can you just kind of explain how to create this bridge and how to pick on areas that might be beneficial for us to grow our businesses? There's so much noise out there.
Hmm. All right, yeah, I can. And let me do it in a way that brings it back to food, because I had a very similar experience when I was going, like, I'm going through an ongoing process of learning how to negotiate and navigate with food. I started very, very late. I didn't start making my own meals until I was in my mid 20s after I got out of the army. And so I've had a contentious relationship. And also because I've had a TBI, I struggle to be in the kitchen sometimes. And like the steps are confusing, sometimes intimidating for me. And so I want to say probably 4 or 5 years ago, I took a course by a guy named Chef Todd Moore. And this course is a basic like how to cook. And the interesting thing about Chef Moore is that he, 30 years of experience. He's been, chefing in schools for forever. And so he's got a lot of patter about like this is how you do things. And so he's a, consummate educator. But his main focus wasn't teaching recipes, it wasn't, particular techniques. It was really basic, like this is how cutting things with a knife works. This is how the heat process works between a sear and between a slow cook and a braise. And this is how to avoid that medium temperature that dries out your meat. Like those types of things that are fundamental building blocks. And so when I approached AI, it was kind of accidental for me. Like you talk about my relationship with Anthropic's Claude program, and it was completely an accident that I fell into that instead of falling into whatever else happened to be out there at the time. And the reason was that at the time when Claude first came out on the market, it had a much larger context window than anything else that had been released up to that point. So ChatGPT was running about 3,000 characters or tokens of context space total, and Anthropic had an 80,000 character window. And my goal, my specific goal with using AI at the time is I was basically trying to take my two previous books and update them and turn them into a third book without having to go through the pain of actually rewriting a book all over again, which I didn't want to do over and over again. And so I was doing this project of developing this book, and I inadvertently taught the AI everything that that basically where I'm coming from and my whole background and my, all the histories and everything that I'd been developing for those books got into Claude. And we developed over a period of a couple of years ways to be able to capture our insights from our conversations and put those into what later became called skills files. And I was playing with it at the time with PDFs and just really, and then I learned what a markdown file was. And I was like, oh, cool, markdown. It's like not a PDF. I'm like, whatever. And then and then later on, I found out, kind of at the same time Anthropic found out that HTML files are actually the cleanest read for AI. And so I've gone through this learning process slowly and surely. But here's the key: if you really wanted to try and drag one single point out for me, here's the key. Very early on, I ran into a guy named Jonathan Mast, and he owns a company called Whitebeard Strategies and runs a Facebook page called AI for Entrepreneurs.
Mm.
And Jonathan developed a series of courses that are kind of bite-sized pieces. He does 2 hours a day for 3 days and has these little master classes. And the very first course that I took was literally here's the difference between a paid account and a free account. And here's what you can do to start putting permanent information into the back end of these projects of your Anthropic account or into a custom GPT if you're running Chat GPT. And here's how to make it your AI. And so Jonathan is the one that introduced to me the understanding that that's the key that unlocks AI. And so really everybody that's in the AI world right now, if you look online on LinkedIn or Facebook, you see a lot of different groups that are focused on different aspects of it. But the ones that are really focused on the fundamentals, whether it's, Whitebeard Strategies, and we can surface a link for that if anybody's interested in checking it out. But whether it's through this pathway or another one, what you really want to look at is those fundamentals. Are you learning the step-by-step process of how to put your voice and your writing style into the custom instructions? Are you creating pathways where, as an entrepreneur, when you talk to the AI and ask it for a project, does it understand the full context of your business, your personal motivations? your background, everything that goes into what's needed in order to give you your response instead of just AI slop responses. And so a lot of what we're doing with this course, matter of fact, just to bring it back around to why we're actually talking today, is to introduce to people some of the HTML pages that we've produced as a result of this learning process that can help orient AIs towards regenerative strategy collectively. And so, like, the very first thing that I would say is go snap this QR code, download the three links that are on the page into a Notebook LM account, and actually follow this course. And this is what we did last month, was introduce the whole hour was this course. And I don't want to reiterate the whole thing, but basically what we did was we introduced Notebook LM, which is a product that was developed in Google Labs as part of the Gemini series. And it kind of took on a life of its own and became a really, really powerful tool for startup founders, for anybody who's really looking to be able to surface information in front of other people. And what we learned is that we can put websites into Notebook LM as source pages. And so what we've been doing is developing those source pages and putting them in front of people so that they can leverage Notebook LM to really understand regenerative concepts, to really understand like what's available out, what proven strategies work around in the world, and what basically other groups can be able to use as a basis to understand this is what we can do in our own communities. Like that's what this is a skeleton key.
Hmm. So okay.
On the one hand, I would say go take a course and learn how to like the understanding and the difference between a paid and a free account and really go get the basics. On the other hand, you don't need to do any of that if you have a Gmail account and you have a phone that can click this QR code and you can insert the three. Well,
Okay, that was going to be my question. Is it's the QR code that's to the right of you, right? That like or to the right of me or Barry, that they don't cover it. So
it's backwards in my screen, so I have no idea where to put my head.
okay. Um, yeah, so guys, go ahead, click that QR code, take the course. It's really simple, doesn't take that long, and it's layman's words, so you're not going to get confused. Um, but go ahead and take that. Um, so what you're telling me is I can train AI to know me so well that it can support me in running my business and my life. Because I'm looking at it from different points of views now. You just opened up a can of worms for me,
Yeah.
where I can use it to make my business efficient or my nonprofit, and I can also use it to manage my personal life, especially for people that may be dealing with a lot of medication issues, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of social engagement, raising families, being able to schedule things. Um, I'm seeing this going off in many different directions, and this is the weirdo in me coming out. Is
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. And now I can just, at a click of a button, know what every single person in my family is doing. And I can support my mom with her medications and her dosage and stuff because she can't read that tiny, tiny print that the pharmacist hands out with her drug every 90 days, right? And besides that, she doesn't have the capacity to even be able to say what it means because she has these different drugs that she takes, and how to manage it for interactions and stuff.